Just over a week ago, the Barbados Water Authority family learnt of the sudden passing of Dr. Hugh Sealy. Dr. Seeley, or Hugh as many of us called him, had been affiliated with the BWA for many years. Son of the former General Manager Nicky Sealy, Hugh himself began his association with the BWA as a member of staff at the Environmental Engineering Department, now the Environmental Protection Department, back in 1994. His association with the authority continued over the years in various capacities up until his untimely death. This week on Water Wednesdays, we pay tribute to Dr. Hugh Sealy as we rebroadcast his latest chat with us on the new zoning policy.
It's out with the old and in with what is the new water protection and land use zoning policy this week on Water Wednesdays. We're going to tell you why this is so important for all customers at all levels. Dr. Hugh Sealy, he's a special advisor to the government of Barbados and by extension, the Barbados Water Authority. Dr. Sealy, such a pleasure to have you on the program. Tell us about this new water protection and land use zoning policy. What's it all about? How is it different from the old zoning policy?
Well, thank you, Shane, and for welcoming me to the program. We have an old water protection policy that goes back to 1963. It is now outdated, and it's now time for a change. Perhaps I can explain why it's outdated. In the 60-something years since we had that policy, we are now abstracting 3 times more water than we did in the past. We're using a lot more chemicals. The policy itself worked reasonably well to protect the public supply wells, those in the Zone 1. But then it got more relaxed as it got towards the coast. Where we are, this is a Zone 5. But what we've learned is that the whole of Barbados is a coastal zone, in the sense that anything you put into the ground inland is eventually going to hit the coast and affect the coral reefs offshore. So it's now time to revise that policy, and we've come with in 2020 with a new recommended water protection and land use zoning policy. It came about from a study that was done way back in 2006 by consultants who recommended that we change the zones from Zone 1 to 5 to Zones A to E.
Right. So is it just a simple changing from the numerical system to the lettering system? How are the zones different now?
No, it's not as simple as just changing from 1 to 5 to A to E. The new Zone A's effectively replace the old Zone 1s, but they're a little bit smaller. The old Zone 1 took up about 9% of our land area. These new Zone A's take up about 5% of our land area. So you're freeing up a little bit of land for further development. The restrictions that we would have in the new Zone A are similar to what you had in the Zone 1. Now I should state right up front, Shane, that if you are living in a Zone A and you were previously living in a Zone 1, are you going to be affected by these new regulations? The answer is yes, that we may have to bring in higher levels of wastewater treatment for you in that Zone A, but we're not going to ask you to leave that zone or evict you out of that area. There's also going to be a Zone B where there's going to be a pathogen management, and a Zone C, chemical management. We can get into the restrictions that are in all the zones.
Well, the next thing that I know customers will ask is basically when will this new policy come into effect? When can they see this rolling out? In the very near future?
Well, we have what's called a green paper that has gone to Cabinet. And we're at the stage now where we want to get the feedback from the public, and then it will go back to Cabinet and then to Parliament to become law.
The Barbados Water Authority remembers with great appreciation the sincere and passionate contribution of Dr. Hugh Sealy to the water and wastewater industries. May he rest in peace.